A question that comes to my mind is, where do I stand now? It has been some years from when I first started kind of talking about my own perspective of the world, through my own experiences, with what I've seen, with what I felt, with what I know. And now I'm in a place where I'm much better as to who I was before. I had learned to struggle and cope with things in unhealthy mannerisms. I had learned through more healthy mannerisms. But it was a thing of learning, of knowing how. I still see a lot of flaws of this world, but not one to where I'll straight up just damn this entire world and say it's no use, that it's hopeless. Because within the job that I do, I still see so much good in this world. So much good that we all fail to see. All fail to be. Because we can be better. We can learn. We can understand. We can grow as people. To allow ourselves to just forget about how we can better ourselves, or just how to accept ourselves as human beings. Well, it's something too familiar with many, forgetting that. I've been lucky to still have some consistent people in my life, even after all the failures that I had done. Even after losing people that I cared about because of my own ignorance. Now, doesn't mean that I still hadn't failed from time to time. Still didn't mean that I'm still struggling to learn, or that I stopped learning. I'll always try to learn, to understand. I still see so many lives in front of me. So many endless possibilities. From those that will do great, to those that will just live the mundane, to those just trying their best, to those that suffer. See, one thing I remembered so prominently around the time of a breakup. I remembered experiencing so much that I had to write down and visualize my own perception of this world. And it went like this. I saw the world on fire. And it was beautiful. It was loud, and it was scary. It was chaotic. But I was enjoying it. I was relishing in it. And then I saw the world on fire. And this time it was hell. I was suffering. I was drowning, and I was screaming, and I was clawing my way out. Until I woke to a world of just ash. There was nothing left. Eventually I would walk that ashen lands, and I would end up at a cabin by the beach. It was an old cabin. In that old cabin, I remembered going inside, and it started to rain. And soon the rain would pick up and go stronger, harder. And I'd be screaming and yelling, trying to find ways to keep the old house up. Afraid that it would break down at any given moment, that I would end up drowning in the process. I didn't know what to do. I was overwhelmed. But soon, the rain picks up. I'm left in an empty house that's tattered and beaten. I decided to fix it. And then leave. And after that, I wondered, what would I be seeing after that? What would I be feeling? I didn't have an answer for. Not for some time. But I think I do have an answer now. Right now I see lush green grass growing in all directions. I see trees scattered about. I see beautiful mountains off in the distance. I see a world that's thriving and living. We all have our own ways in how we deal with circumstances, with hells that we face, and how we feel about accomplishments. There are many different perspectives that this world has. In psychology, there are many different theorists that theorize how we as individuals develop and grow, from adolescence all the way to adulthood, till we grow old and gray. And each theory, they all have their own merits to some degree. But I don't think it's just one simple answer. It's just one simple theory that gives us the entire truth, rather than that it's just all but pieces of them to the greater puzzle of this world that we live in. But aside from that, going back to my visual landscape of this world, right now, I see a world that's peaceful. Even with all the chaos still churning, even with all the injustices and the failings of doing things right, to different groups of people, it's sad and disappointing and it's painful. But still, even when chaos ensues around, it does not mean that you should allow yourself to falter. Instead, find ways to help those groups. Find ways to be a voice. And also make sure you find ways to advocate for yourself. That was one big thing in my own journey of things. I struggled to advocate for myself, to find my own voice, to care for myself. Even when I tried, I still failed because I didn't see myself as worthy. But right now in this moment, for sure, I had to find my own ways to advocate. Now, every choice we make elicits an outcome. Sometimes it's straightforward, but there's still 100 other outcomes that could come out of a singular choice. And how we decide to go about it is how we will ultimately decide who we become and how others around us will perceive us. This world is not easy. It sure is as hell difficult. And it is complicated. But I do believe that in this world we can find our peace. We can grow. We can learn. We can become. But of course it does take hard work. It does take effort. It does take time, patience, understanding. Sometimes we forget our fellow human beings, cast them aside and curse their names, just for their own existence, because it inconvenienced us at some point. If we could find ways to go past such immature thoughts and ways, we can truly learn to build a better future, a better tomorrow. We don't always have to agree with the things that are being said. We don't always have to have the same opinions on things. But it's a need of respect. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of times where one opinion will elicit a stronger response compared to another. But how we decide to go about those stronger opinions, it will make a difference. We could either be a stone in a storm, or we could be a leaf in the wind. But afterwards, it's how we decide to continue about it. Anyways, I'll leave this recording here because it was just a bit of a ramble, a bit of a talk to myself and to those who listen. I wish you the best, a good day, a good night, and go for a better tomorrow.